Well, the premise is quite simple. Take something designed by nature and reprogram it to make it work for the body rather than against it.
You're talking about a virus?
Indeed, yes, in this case the measles virus, which has been engineered at a genetic level to be helpful rather than harmful.
So you have actually cured cancer?
Yes. Yes, we have.
Hey guys, what is up? Nihat here with Film Comics Explained, and today we'll be taking a quick look at the Crippen virus, as featured in the movie I Am Legend, starring Will Smith. The movie is a loose adaptation of the novel with the same name by Richard Matheson, published in 1954. The title character, Robert Neville, is the sole survivor of a pandemic which causes those infected to suffer from symptoms resembling vampirism. Just like the novel, Neville is gifted with an immunity to the virus. However, while the film has him using the majority of his time researching and experimenting to find a cure, the novel has him spending his days hunting the vampires as they slept. Neville then finds a stray dog whom he grows attached to, but eventually dies. He then dedicates his time studying, trying to find the cause of the disease, which he eventually identifies as a strain of bacteria capable of infecting living and deceased hosts. It appears to have a sensitivity to sunlight, garlic, and other traditional anti-vampire tools. We then see him utilize this knowledge to heavily cull the vampire population. In the film, the vampirism affliction was caused by the Crippen virus, a genetically modified version of the measles virus, created to work as a cure for cancer. Dr. Alice Crippen, whom the virus is named after, tested the treatment on 10,009 patients with various forms of malignancies. Miraculously, all 10,009 had made a full recovery, which led to the Crippen virus being hailed as a miracle. Unfortunately, although the test subjects remained cancer-free, they began experiencing rabies-like symptoms, causing them to go berserk and bite anyone who came within reach, which began spreading the infection. Shortly after this, an airborne strain of the virus emerged. This new strain had a 90% mortality rate. The remaining 9% became relatively mindless, fast and strong killing machines with a keen smell for blood. This group were known as the Darkseekers, who fed on the remaining 1% of the population. When a host is infected with KV, they slowly succumb to the disease over the course of 48 hours. During that time, the host will suffer symptoms such as fever and hemorrhaging. The psychological symptoms and bloodlust also begin to kick in. The virus drastically alters behavior, but also begins to cause physical changes to the host, such as albinism, total hair loss, and dilated pupils. A severe intolerance to UV light begins to develop, similar to vampirism. The virus also causes the host's adrenal glands to remain open, constantly flooding them with adrenaline, giving the hosts enhanced strength and agility, while also speeding up their metabolism, raising their heartbeat and causing drastic alterations to body temperature. Although Darkseekers appear to be mindless, they are far from it. They are not only able to set up elaborate traps, but we see them maintaining relationships and can see a hierarchy of order among them, especially in the extended ending. The only other species to be infected in the movie were rats and canines, while the deer and lions appeared to have an immunity to the KV virus. Neville had himself stated that his German shepherd Samantha had an immunity to the airborne strain, but was still susceptible to the contact strain that eventually got her when she was bitten trying to protect her master. In the theatrical cut, Robert Neville was able to successfully create a cure for the virus called Compound 6, which gradually healed the host's psychological symptoms, and with the aid of lower temperatures, had the potential to cure their physical symptoms too. Robert dies protecting Anna and Ethan after finding the cure. The novel went in a completely different direction. After years of killing the vampires, Neville captures a woman named Ruth during the day that doesn't appear to be infected. He takes a sample of her blood, but is knocked out once the test reveals that she is infected. When he comes to, Ruth explains that she was sent to spy on him by the infected, who have developed medication to overcome the severe aspects of their affliction. They are essentially trying to build a new society, which is being hampered by Neville's efforts. Ruth tries to warn him to leave as he is seen as a monster by the infected, having mercilessly killed their kind over many years. Neville is severely injured and captured, and put in a cell to await execution for his crimes. Neville then acknowledges that he can now see that the infected view him with the same hatred and fear he had once reserved for them. Neville takes his own life with medication given to him by Ruth. In the alternate ending of the film, Neville comes to a similar understanding, realizing that although the Darkseekers hunted humans, it was purely out of survival, and he himself had massacred their kind and was just as much a monster as they were. I've left a link to a version of the alternate ending and I recommend you guys take a look. This ending was closer to the original novel, and I think it would have made for a better ending than what we got, allowing us to deconstruct our notions of good and evil. The producers of I Am Legend also released a few animated shorts depicting the effects of the Crippen virus around the world. I remember these were in the special features of either the DVD or Blu-ray. I've also left a link to these in the comments below and recommend you take a look. Shelter, in particular, shows the incubation period and the psychological effects of the virus. In the short, a family in India prepare to lock themselves in a bunker due to the outbreak. The daughter runs out to see her boyfriend and returns to the house to find her family have already entered the bunker and are refusing to let her in. Her father tells her that she must wait outside for 48 hours, after which they will know for sure that she is free of infection. While she waits for the time to pass, she begins to cough up blood and tells them that the food and water they had left her must have been off. She continues to beg them to let her in, and before the 48 hours is up, her younger brother opens the door, thinking that she was okay. What's interesting to note is that she now views her family as monsters and is unable to recognize them. And although she's still aware of who they were, she ends her parents and brother, feeding on them before returning to her boyfriend, who is now also infected. Unfortunately, that's all that we have time for. I'm curious to hear your thoughts and opinions on the Crippen virus and what you think of the alternate ending, so please share these in the comments below. Special shout out to MM Creative, who suggested I do a video on the Crippen virus. Thank you so much, mate. It was great fun going through all this material, and I hope you enjoyed this. As always, it's been a pleasure. Nihat here with Film Comics Explained. Thanks for stopping by.